Yes, and then just the 3 camps into bot. I don't think Udyr can do that. Like, I mean, he can, but it's super slow. He could, but did you think about that?
Well, it like definitely would have, like, I definitely would have thought of the possibility, but I don't think there's any way they can kill us.
So, but
Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. This is just so interesting. Okay. He's so dead if Udyr 3 camped into bot.
yes,
He's
yes.
he's
Brom Q flash exhaust and Ghost doesn't help you.
mega dead. Udyr has Ghost and is way faster than him. So let me think. Oh god. This is these moments I have to think really hard. When someone says shit like this.
What's going on, guys? Besides here, this video is going to be a little different. I got coached by one of the best coaches in league that is out there, Max Waldo. He was previously coaching pro teams like C9, so if you want to learn a lot about the game and get better, this is a more theoretical session, but it's gonna be good for any rank and any role that you can be right here. Remember that on my Twitch I give free UPGG review for any players that want to get better in the game and eventually climb. With the UPGG review you will be able to find your own mistakes and see if the champions are good for climbing or bad for climbing. Are you having good champion pool or not? All what I have to do is follow my Twitch and ask for it, then enjoy the video.
Get Grandmaster, Challenger. How is he Master Tier?
Yes.
Yeah, I would have won this so hard.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm having a brain blast here. Okay. So here, I'll give you like a line of dialogue here. He says, I could have killed Jinx.
Yes.
I could have killed Jinx.
Yes.
I know. He said, I know I could have killed Jinx. I know I could have killed Jinx. Okay. And I hear that, and I'm like, that's super interesting. How do you know that? Or like, oh, what I would have asked. What would you need to do differently? What would you need to do differently? I used to ask, what would you need to do better? But now I just ask, what would you need to do differently to get the kill? And he says, I needed to ghost earlier.
Yes.
Okay. And that sounds like a solution because it's the right answer, but it's not a solution. It's a trick. It's a post hoc realization. He just looked at the game afterwards and he was like, oh, if I could just ghost here while he's spectating the game, like, of course you know what you should have done when you're spectating the game. The point is, how would you know in the game that you need to ghost earlier? How do you make that decision in the game?
I see. Maybe when you think like after the karma hits the root and you know it's a reliable play that you can burn sums.
You know that engage spells, like commitment spells, if Karma's W is going to proc, then you are committed to this fight because Karma's going to be close to them, Jinx is going to be rooted, and then you're going to be able to land your root. So you know that if someone is using these committal spells, and this will happen for team fights too, this idea happens all over the game, that if someone is going to use their engage spells to go forward, the fight is going to happen. It's very hard to disengage the fight, like right now, when Braum and Karma are in melee range. So then you should do whatever it takes to win the fight, because this is over so much value right now. If you can ghost and move forward and make Jinx either die or use her flash and you don't, then you're winning everything. You're going to crash the next wave and you're going to base, or you're going to just stay and crash the 4th wave, and then I don't know, maybe you have enough. He doesn't have enough from Noon Quiver. He just has to base whenever he can get a good base off. But then he's so far ahead. It's crazy. The wave will come back into him. But you see all of this happening. You see that you need to use your summoner spells when there's a commitment. You see that if you win that commitment, then you're going to crash the wave and you'll have a huge advantage with Vi pathing towards you. There's so much that you'll win from making them lose this interaction. So now imagine him, I think sees none of that. And he doesn't even really know if there's going to be a fight here. So I would want to know what he thinks about how he would make that decision in a future game, and then you have to kind of give him something. So I would talk to him probably about committal spells, like what spells make it so that there's going to be a fight, like Nautilus Hook, there's going to be a fight, Thresh Hook, there's going to be a fight. What are some like range supports?
Yeah.
Karma W, like
sometimes Janna Q maybe.
Yeah, if Janna's
can
charging her Q, even the range supports have spells where if they are actually casting them on the opponent to land it, then you can ghost, you can heal, you can run forward, you can go like commit to a fight at that time. So I don't think he's seen that at all. And if he was, he'd probably be better at support. He'd probably be better at AD carry. He would understand the game so much better. He'd probably be better at team fighting too, because now in late game, when he sees that his Ornn casted ult, he realizes that, oh, this is a fight. We are 100% going to fight here, and then you ghost at the beginning.
So, and I guess it's gonna help him if he also calculates like what Braum can do there, because if he knows that Karma can root, but then Braum is gonna block all of his abilities, maybe it's not that worth to ghost. Like there is also like a small risk, and he can calculate all of those things, and he can decide if he should ghost or not.
Yes, but he has to know that there's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is
even if I had Q, like even if I took Q, not W, right, which I did. I think
great.
like ghost.
Yes. Or just take cleanse if you don't like ghost. Cleanse is also okay here, but not needed though, because only for Braum playing Xayah, I don't need cleanse. But you
if
can.
I play it right, I don't need cleanse.
Yes, if you play it right, don't need cleanses. Enemy jungle.
I knew that they did not leash bot, like, because as soon as we started pushing the lane, they just walked up, right?
Okay.
So I knew that Udyr was pathing bot and would be like taking his red right now.
Okay.
Or like almost taking his red, and so I was like, we just want to get this wave to crash.
But did you see that Talon leashed in any way? Okay, so you saw you oh sorry. I guess okay, Talon has TP. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah. Did you see Cho'Gath leashing? Like, how do you know that they didn't fake leash?
What? So you think, like you're saying that he could have just started solo red?
Yes, and then just the 3 camps into bot. I don't think Udyr can do that. Like, I mean, he can, but it's super slow. He could, but did you think about that?
Well, it like definitely would have, like, I definitely would have thought of the possibility, but I don't think there's any way they can kill us at level 2. Like, I just ghost out.
Yeah, I see. So, but
oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. This is just so interesting. Okay. He's so dead if Udyr 3 camped into bot.
Yes. Braum Q flash exhaust and Ghost doesn't help you.
Mega dead. Udyr has Ghost and is way faster than him. So let me think. Oh god, these moments I have to think really hard. When someone says shit like this.
Like, realistically speaking, if Braum flashes exhaust on Xayah, Xayah has no counterplay to do anything, because Braum always uses the Q and hits it because you're exhausted, and then you just die against Ghost Udyr. So there is no way you escape.
Yeah. So there's a few things I'm thinking about right now. One is, do I go through every moment that like Udyr is like pathing? Because like Udyr could have already 3 camped and been bot while they were fighting too.
Yes.
So do I go through this and like explain to him that like no, he's 100% dead if Udyr chooses to play like this, and that he told me from the first wave that he's not intending to play like this, that he just wants to push and then wait until Vi is going to be bot. Should I go through this and explain it to him, or should I wait? Should I remember this? This is like, I'll write this down. Should I write it down and reveal it later? And I don't quite know the answer to some of these things yet. I kind of do it by feel, which I guess is like how frustrated am I that this guy's like believing that he's gonna live here. Okay, and what other thing is going on? Because sometimes I hold all of these things until the very end, or like until like an hour in, and then I'll be like, okay, you're telling me these things, and I don't know how you think this. I don't know how you think this is true, and then I'll like give him 3 things that he told me that are ridiculous. Oh, okay. Oh, I got it, because I know what my goal is. So this is another super good process that you can make more explicit for yourself and give to other people, is working backwards from your goal. And this is all I'm doing here is I'm like setting your goal. Like, you have 2 goals. One is you want to get better at delivering ideas, and the other one is in the context of this coaching session, you want to help this guy learn more. So let's just work with like, you want this guy to learn. Okay. And then like working backwards from the flowchart. So that's the goal. That's the outcome that you want. The step that he needs to do to learn is going to be, it needs to be that he asks himself more questions and he becomes more honest with himself. Not easy. So then what do we need for that to happen? What do we need for him to be like asking himself a lot more questions, for him to be like honest with himself when he reviews? It's like, okay, well, first of all, how do we incentivize someone to do that? Because that's like a painful thing to do, to be really honest with yourself and ask yourself hard questions. And I think the incentive has to be like that if you don't do it, fuck, is this like a carrot and a stick thing? Shit. That if he doesn't do it, then he can't be the best. Because his thoughts won't align with his actions. Like, you cannot be a challenger player, you cannot be a pro player if you are thinking this way. Because it's limiting you so much. You can't agree with yourself. Like, you play a game and then you watch it and you have like a million disagreements with yourself that you never resolve because you're just saying one thing and doing another over and over. Oh my god. Okay. So how that's one incentive. I'm trying to think how to incentivize him positively to do that. What's the carrot here? Jesus.
Maybe you have to think about his motivation. Like, why is he playing the game?
That's another thing that he would tell you at the beginning, right?
Yes,
like, imagine, like I established with you at the beginning of this that you just want to keep getting better.
Yes.
So that opens the door for me to tell you, like, this is how you get better, and it aligns with your wants, right? And if you got that out of him, like you're saying, like, why do you play League of Legends? What are your goals? And then he tells you these things. Now you can use that later to say, hey, you want these things, right? This is how you get them. That's it. That's the positive. That's the positive incentive.
Can I share my screen for a second? I want to show you
Yes.
something. So this is what I used. I do it. Like, for example, this is like another student. So she got from she was platinum last season. Now she's a 100 LP master. So this is what I do. So I do the goal. I take peak hours invested, because if you're playing 1 hour per day compared to 5 hours per day, I think it matters. First season, like when she started, champion pool, expected problems, and at every single session they get like a card with complete task to be ready for the next session, additional extra practice, what she should be focusing on. And now I even made it better with like main takeaways, like what we learned in the session, like needs immediate fix for biggest improvement. This is like the biggest like pain thing. Then session record, and then other things. Do you think it's good? And obviously like preparing the next thing. I just want to make a structure for them, you know, like I just want to make him very simple for them to like know.
Yes, it is good, but what did you get from this guy?
From this guy?
Yeah.
Like for tips?
Asking him what his goals were, like what he wanted to do and why he plays.
So he told me that he wanted to get Grandmaster. That's what he told me.
Oh, okay. Amazing idea. Okay, so goals are harder than this. So to achieve your goal, to achieve any goal that you set, you don't just aim at the goal. You have to aim at the things that you believe you would have to change about yourself to achieve that goal. So let's say that I want to get like massive muscles at the gym, right? I'm not thinking about like, I'm not just obsessing over getting massive muscles every day. The thing that I have to obsess about to actually achieve that goal is like, what workouts am I doing? What like body parts am I going to stress today? How many reps am I going to do to like hit the best range for like maximum improvement? It's all the things that I have to change about myself. Like, am I willing to go to the gym twice today? Am I willing to change my diet to achieve my goals? It's all of the sacrifices and things that I have to make different to get the goal. Because then if you just set a goal, you know, I just want to like lift 300 pounds and you just like think about it all the time, you won't have a path to get there. It won't be practical. So he wants to get Grandmaster, but then I'm going to ask him, what things do you think that you have to do better to get Grandmaster? And if he participates with that question, now it opens up me telling him like, okay, this is what I think you have to do better to get Grandmaster. Now that he's like talking about it and thinking about it. Does that this sort of thing make sense? That like, let me write this down, that the goal itself has to be secondary to the things that you need to change.
I see. So maybe the sacrifice for him could be every single day he does 1 hour of reviews where he asks himself hard questions about his gameplay and what he's doing in the game. Maybe that's like one thing that he can implement.
Every day he plays and then he reviews and asks himself. Oh, he doesn't know the questions. You should give him some questions. It's hard to make this so specific. I'm thinking. Okay, one second. This can be really good. Okay. What should he ask himself when he reviews? Because if you tell him to ask himself hard questions, you're in the same spot again. Where now his goal is to ask himself hard questions, but he doesn't know how to do that or what that is.
What if you ask him, what do you think the best coach in the world should do as Zaya in this particular matchup, in this particular composition? So you kind of make him think like what he's supposed to do without like fighting or doing the Gumayushi stuff.
Yes, this is a good perspective to have. This is kind of like asking like how can I, like, if you're in business or you're in sales, like you always hear like entrepreneurs ask themselves like, how can I 10x my business? How can I do this like 10x better? It's because they're asking themselves like, what would a really successful and rich person do if they were in my body right now? What would the best player do, or what would he be thinking about? And that will take him somewhere, and it will take some people somewhere, and it will take other people nowhere. And I'm not sure exactly how to differentiate them right now. So I just give people a little bit more. So I think this is good to tell people, but then I'll give specific examples too. So like asking yourself how to improve like 10x, like what would the best player do in my situation? But then I would tell them like, okay, every time you click backwards in the lane, review that. Look at it and ask yourself, why did you do that? And like this is painful. This is a painful thing to do for people that like, because everybody backclicks probably more than they should in the lane, but it is very natural to do that, and that gives them a painful awareness of the things that they aren't aware of, that they're like backclicking over and over, and that it's not what they think that they should do in the lane. And you can give them more things like this too, like every level up. So reviewing every backclick and reviewing every level up minion, because when this guy, he was fighting his level up minion, he did not know what was going on. He did not want to fight reviewing every like crashed wave. There's so many times in the game that happen every game where you can review, like when he crashes a wave, does he just stand around in the lane, or does he know that he has to base, or does he look mid and see an opportunity to roam? Reviewing every crashed wave and asking yourself how you can get the most value, and value is EXP and gold in the most efficient time, so lowest time. So once you give him these, like, you give him a perspective of compare yourself to a person who's like the best, who is going to make like the best decisions and like win in every interaction, and think about how they would go about doing that. So you're asking him to try to make a path between you and the best player in the world. And then hopefully for a lot of people, they're going to see like 10 deficiencies in themselves where they're like, okay, I can do all of these 10 things better, just because they started comparing themselves to an ideal version of themselves. Some people don't get there though. So I try to account for those people too, who think about that and they get nothing, by giving them specific things to review.
I see.
Yeah. And I think that gets them to the point where they're actually incentivized from their goal, because they said like, I want to get Grandmaster, I want to climb, and now they have a way. Now you give them a path of doing it, but some of the path is you have to figure it out yourself, but here's how you do it. You think about the best version of yourself, because you can't solve every problem for them. You have an hour with them. So they have to practice being equipped to solve their own problems, but you're going to give them a lot of specifics and a lot of questions to ask themselves. And also you're going to tell them like, just be creative. What would the best person that you can imagine do in your situation? This is good.
If he goes, if he goes right here like this.
Oh, if he's here now, then
yeah. That's my concern. That's my only concern if he comes here. So be very, very careful how you play in these kind of situations. If you're not thinking, because now it's already like pretty late. It's 2 minutes and 35. So in the next 10-15 seconds you can get ganked. He actually stopped for rappers. This is so bad jungle actually. Let's see. So he did that, and he sees this. He sees this.
Yeah, if he sees this, definitely don't start Raptor.
Like, this guy is Diamond 1 player. Yikes.
He's just clearing.
I mean, the thing is, if he's thinking I'm not gonna go bot because I know Vi should always be behind, because I saw her starting top, I mean, maybe he's thinking about this, who knows? Maybe he's really high IQ. But still, like, you should be expecting it because there are many junglers that do this.
I also think it's really bad that Vi's full or like full clear her top side.
Yes.
If she just red buffs into blue and Grom, she'd be here already.
Yeah, but she probably didn't know that you guys are gonna fight. Like, okay, so she's here. That's what's gonna happen. Okay, good Q. And then he replayed it good. You tank one tower shot. I like how you played this here, and then you just back off. Ooh. Okay. Big call, wave, slow pushing into you. Okay, 952. What did you buy, and what are the possibilities?
Yeah, it's just like double longsword and control ward. I don't even think I can get that in there.
Okay, but what about the pickaxe here?
Oh wait, I know. I think I do go pickaxe.
Okay, but
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
952. So pickaxe potion or pickaxe pink?
I think the pink is better
Mm-hmm. And
because we
why?
want to have prio, right?
Okay.
And we should have prio.
Yes.
And I just got a kill, so.
Yes, I think pink ward is fine here because if you get prio, Jinx is not gonna poke you, and if she's not gonna poke you, no reason to get potion. I think pink is also important because you play against Braum, the Jinx with ghosts that can instantly ghost on you, and then Udit. So getting the pink is important. There are some situations when they have Shyvana jungle and they have like Janna, and you don't need to buy a control lord, and you prefer to just get a pickaxe in defeatable potion, pickaxe potion. But it's not this case. In this case, I think pink ward has value. So you did okay. No.
I went for the potion.
No, no problem, no problem.
Oh, okay. Oh, these things, they're so sneaky. So he made a decision that looks like it's close to being right, but I think the decision that you made is so different than the decision he's making. He's just buying. I think he just buys pickaxe because it gives him the most AD
Yes.
or whatever, and like there's not a thought. He just buys the potion because he wants the health or something. So I think your explanations of what he should be thinking about aren't even interacting with his brain right now. Where I'm trying to think of a solution here. So the first solution is that the first part of this is that he needs a time in the game to think about what item he's going to buy, because he doesn't. He doesn't think about what item he's going to buy until he lands on the fountain.
What did you buy?
Thank God he needs to heal for a long period of time, because I've seen really good players land on the fountain and sit in the base, not knowing what to buy when they just had 8 seconds of idle time, like not being able to think about it. So it's like the moment that you press B here, he needs to be thinking about what item am I going to buy and why, because he can get to a point, and your answer can actually help him, probably later on in a written form, of when you buy control wards and when you even buy potions, because sometimes the potion isn't even useful.
Yeah.
Just like you're explaining, sometimes the control word isn't even useful. But I don't think he's thinking like that, because he's like as fast as he can trying to like spend all of his gold, and get the items and go back to lane. So you need to give him a time where he can chill out and think about what item he's going to buy. And here he has a shitload of time to do it, and he like buys the wrong item, undoes it, then buys control word, then undoes that, then buys potion. That's why I'm like, oh, you haven't thought about this at all. You're so unsure what to buy. Time to think about things. I never thought about this, that I take a lot of time when I'm in the game to try to solve problems or have active thoughts, and other people might just alt tab. I've seen people do this. I mean, sometimes when they're streaming, it's like a little bit more acceptable because they're like looking at their chat. But I've seen people just like they base and then they walk back to lane and they alt tab and they stop thinking. When there's a lot of things to make decisions on when you're walking back to lane. Like what you should do with the wave, and like where people are going, if your mid lane has push, where your jungler's pathing. There are so many things to be aware of, but you have to make the time where he needs to ask himself the question really clear so that he can start doing it every game, because these people aren't doing it automatically. People who climb to challenger, people who become like pro players without much help, are kind of doing this all the time. That's how they keep improving, is they're asking themselves questions, even if they don't totally realize it, about what they need to be doing when there's downtime. If I'm recalling, I'm thinking about when am I going to get back to the lane? Is there like better alternatives? Would it be faster if I killed Scuttle Crab, or would it be more efficient if I killed Scuttle Crab on the way back to lane? Should I be running top right now instead? These are like questions that I'll be like running through my head if I'm basing. Of course, what item should I buy should be like at the top of that list, and it feels like this guy didn't even figure that out. So he just needs space to think about these questions. So literally what I'll write to people is every time you're recalling, know what item you're going to buy before you recall. And then just make the decision. Like, don't sit there and refund it over and over and second guess it. Make the decision, buy the item, and then review the purchase. Like, go back and review it. And if you think it's wrong, figure out why it's wrong. And then do it again. Recall and just buy the item that you think is right this time. And then review it again. And now you actually have an experiment that you're working with that gets better every time. But I have no clue if this guy, like, I don't even know if he did the thing that he thinks is right at this point, because he's like double longsword, like a refill potion, normal potion, pink ward. Now I want pickaxe. Like, I don't know how he's coming to this conclusion, but he needs to do it a lot faster, definitely, and he needs to have the space to think. Let's skip through here and go here.
And they have like Janna, and you don't need to buy a control lord, and you prefer to just get a pickaxe and refill the potion with pickaxe potion. But it's not this case. In this case, I think pink ward has value. So you did okay. Never mind.
I went for the potion.
no problem, no problem. Yeah, because you're gonna get prior over Jinx right now. You're gonna have momentum. You're strong side right now.
I think in the moment my process was since Jinx is going to just rocket me and like space me, then I want to have the potions to sustain that. But I think the control is 100% better.
I see. Okay.
In hindsight.
You're trying to pressure here. Okay, and then you try to go on her. So you didn't know about Udyr, you didn't know about Braum. So you see Udyr mid. Let's see. Udyr is mid. He ganked. I hope you see that he's towards top lane. Good.
And so I'm like, we haven't, like, Braum is just like way too far back right now. I don't think that should be a problem.
But how do you know? How do you know Braum is far back?
Because I knew that Jinx was going to be to the lane first.
I see.
Braum was going to be late.
Let's see, but how much? Let's see, because this is Braum.
This is like
Jinx coming the lane. Okay, Braum.
This is really good. This is like the best line of questioning. They're like, oh, this is good. This is really good.
Braum missing. And now when you go in, do you know exactly where Braum is? And try to approximate. Let's see.
I think he's at tier 1 turret right now.
This one?
Or tier 3, sorry.
This one?
Yeah.
But I think he's right here. Okay, pretty close. But he's bad player. Okay, it's Diamond 1 player. W always on the minion so you can get faster. Second of all, E gives you movement speed. These players are not playing the game. They're like, okay, so yes, but roughly speaking, you have to be able to approximate. Okay, so you went in, but you see that you went in exactly when Braum could have been here. Like now.
Ooh, you can go even further. Yes, this is good because you're trying to get him to quantify his thoughts and feelings, so that he actually knows the things that he feels like he knows. But you can go even further, where did we see Braum recall? Well, then we always know where he is. So like, oh, if we assume that Braum recalled when he went into fog, now we know the exact second that he should come back into lane. But we have to ask ourselves questions like, how long does it take to go from the fountain to the tier 1 turret? And for Braum and his movement speed, I think it's 31 or 32 seconds. But if he uses his E or his W, right, this speeds it up a little bit. So now you need a few seconds of understanding that, like a possible error, right? If he uses his E and his W, he might be back in 29 seconds. He might be back a couple seconds faster. But then you've created more of a gap between what this player is right now and what he could be to achieve his goal. Where now you should probably be reviewing or thinking about when somebody is going to come back into the lane. And maybe you should be saying a second on your screen, where right now I think that Braum will be back at like 4:08 to 4:10, or probably a little slower than that because he has to heal. So he needs like 6 seconds or so to heal. So it's actually like 4:14. 4:14, he might like cross this line, right?
Do you know exactly where Braum is? Here. Movement speed will approximate. And if he had E, like in the base, he could E here for movement speed, and he was here. Because now...
Yeah, I have to burn flash here because I messed up.
So we get also hit by the jumpers.
And yeah, the only way he doesn't... The way that he will walk forward, hit the Jinx, but then know that the Braum is in the lane, that he got like arrived past the tier 1 turret about like 3 seconds ago, and that he's close to Jinx, is if he's timing it. Now eventually, after you time it, it becomes really fast and automatic because your feeling was much closer to the truth because we measured the truth. Yes. But if you never measure what the truth actually is, then you can't develop feelings that are so accurate. You develop feelings that have a huge range of error because you're just like, because you never know. You never know when he's gonna be back.
And you're gonna be going
so. Yes, and he's doing it. He's just walking forward, feeling like Braum isn't in lane yet, but he's never measured that. Something I would point out to him is like, oh, maybe you should be measuring this all the time, so you actually know the difference between Braum being like a couple seconds late or even a couple seconds fast. Like he might already be in lane here if he's like used W and E. Okay, let's see where this goes. This is still really good though.
The brain flash here, right. Mess up.
So we get also hit by the jumpers. I see. Is this big? Well,
I don't think it's too bad because Jinx has no sums and she's half HP as well, and I have the pot running, so I don't think it's that bad. But like obviously it's not gonna be able to make us facilitate our lead. Right?
Exactly, and think about it, because this is not bad, as in you're not gonna lose the lane, but you don't need to lose the lane when you play Jinx Braum lane, because if she plays to play safe, if she plays to not lose, she plays Jinx Braum against who? Against Vi Shen. Useless champs into Braum, by the way.
Amazing. Okay. Oh. Okay. Did he say this or did you say this? 1 second.
Think about it, because this is not bad, as in you're not gonna lose.
And I have the pot running, so I don't think it's that bad. But like obviously it's.
He said it. Okay. But you went along with this, and yes. I've only caught this when I'm reviewing coaching sessions. I never like immediately caught this. Like so I do it better now, but I only initially caught this when I was reviewing coaching sessions. That sometimes I'll point out a mistake, and then the person I'm coaching will say like, "Oh, but it's not that bad."
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That might be true, but that's not why you said it. You didn't say the mistake because like you thought it was really bad, and he's like, no, it's not that bad. You said it because it was a thing that he could do better.
Yes.
But he's going to say things like, we're not going to lose the game over it. Well, in a different context, you might lose the game over it. What if you die here? What if your teammates play poorly? And you not being able to smash your lane is the difference between you winning or losing. The problem is, the reason why you want to attach it to the outcome of the game, the mistake only matters if it affects the outcome of the game, is because to this person, the outcome of the game is the most important thing. But that's not true. The outcome of the game is not the most important thing. He already said that he wants to get better at the game, right? Now, to climb, you have to win games, right? Not quite right. To climb, you have to get better at the game. So why does he not care about getting better at the game in exchange for just winning games? Do you want to be the exact same person that you are right now, but just a higher rank? What does that mean? Like, you want to improve not at all, but win the games? There's a disconnect here between what he thinks is the goal versus like what it actually is. He thinks the goal is to just win the game, but the goal is to become a way, way, way better player. And he's not, his mind isn't there right now. So this idea is called detachment. This player is not detached from the outcome of the game, and instead he's like fixated on what leads to the outcome of the game. If he could detach from the outcome of the game, he would see that the quality of his decisions are the only thing that matters, is how good of a decision that he can make. So if you ever make a decision that could be better, oh, that's great. That's something I can improve on, instead of trying to sidestep it by saying like, oh, it's not that bad. This is a fantastic idea. Okay.
It's not going to be able to make us facilitate our lead. Right?
Exactly, and think about it, because this is not bad, as in you're not going to lose the lane, but you don't need to lose the lane when you play Jinx Braum lane. Because if she plays to play safe, if she plays to not lose, she plays Jinx Braum against who? Against Vi Shen. Useless champs into Braum, by the way. Braum has exhaust. Victor is super useless into Braum Jinx. You have Ghost, and Xayah can never get on top of the Jinx. Plus, Xayah is gonna be partnered with Cho'Gath and with Braum Door, Braum E, and Udyr. So Jinx almost always outscales in this composition. Therefore, you not being able to facilitate your lead is huge here. Playing the lane to not lose it and not being able to stomp it is very bad in this specific composition with this specific champs, in my opinion. So be very, very careful with this, because this can be huge. Okay. You're not gonna die.
Oh, I was a little tilted here.
Because
I got a little tilted. No, because Vi missed her flash Q and didn't need to flash either.
I see.
To kill Jinx.
Maybe she was thinking that she's gonna get you or something, but yeah. I mean, she didn't need to flash. She
The
outcome of the game. He's thinking too much about winning the game, not having a proper decision making.
Even worse. It's even worse. Because we were already there, and I was like, okay, this player's like only thinking about winning. But then even there, it got another layer. Did you see it?
He's thinking about the Vi.
Yeah. He's thinking about what the Vi is doing.
He's not thinking about his own decision making and what he should be doing next.
So he is stressing about things completely out of his control. He can't improve if he's getting stressed out all the time. If his Vi flashes, it's just like you're not even thinking about how to make better decisions. You're thinking about how your Vi can make better decisions. That's great. I'm sure you'll play with liberated straw for the rest of your life. Like, my god, he's stuck. He is like falling farther and farther into like not being able to improve because he's concerning himself with things that are outside of his control and things that don't help him improve. So if he says that he wants to improve, why would he get tilted about this? Why would he focus on all these things that don't help him?
I see. So I need to kind of shift his mindset a little bit, maybe. Okay, let's see what...
Yes, and it'll take practice because at first it won't feel so sharp. But eventually, the more you focus on it and think about it, when people say things like this, it'll just hurt, and you'll want to help them, and you'll try to get them, like you'll ask them, like I would hear this and right away I'd be like why did that tilt you? Why did that upset you? You know you're not in control of any of the junglers that you play with, so why do you concern yourself with that? Why don't you just think about what you can do? And when you can get there, that might not even be enough to help him, but this is what he needs. So you need to find ways to try to help him come at the game from a different perspective. I'm gonna sneeze.
I see.
And that's really what I think helps people the most, is not just like doing their level 1 differently or doing their level 2 differently, but approaching the game in a way where that is obvious. Approaching the game where like they know that that's what they need to focus on every day that they play the game. That they need to focus on like improving their decisions, because that's going to extend not just from their level 1 or the items that they buy or the runes that they take. It extends to everything in the game. If you're just focused on like, what do I think is going to happen? How can I make decisions that are aligned with that understanding? And then like, what are things that I'm actually trying to do better? But right now, I don't think he even knows that he needs to do that better.
Yes,
that he needs to focus on himself. Yeah.
I like that you let her leave first before pushing, so you don't share XP on 3. You don't. If you have.
I always think about that now, especially when I'm farming in mid lane as well, and like junglers are walking by and stuff like that. I want them to steal XP.
Exactly, perfect. And especially because you have feathers, there is no reason to be scared of the. Okay, you wanna stay here? It's really bad tempo though for you. Brom can move, but you have Prio mid lane, and she already started it.
We both just shoved waves, and she just started it. So I was like, if we leave her, she's gonna end up dying and lose the drag.
Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Ooh, but don't stay for the ward though. Just run. I wouldn't wait. Let's see. Here, get it? I'll start running right now. Start running, and then don't turn back. You wasted 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and then recall here. But she can stop it right here, no? Brom? Oh, okay.
He had no vision there.
I see. Yeah, but he could just be here, like putting ward over the wall, and he would see you just in case he's like hovering around. Yeah, I wouldn't personally stay for like 30 gold here, because now, if Jinx really wants it to the Brom, exactly, they can just push, and I think we're gonna lose 2 minions, and I don't think we're gonna get experience of the cannon.
Yeah,
5 seconds, bro. I think
I missed the whole wave.
5 seconds, you could have been right here. You don't get the cannon, but you get XP.
Yeah.
Which is fine. So this is why be careful with the control.
Definitely was a big loss.
For those of you who are struggling winning and climbing in solo queue but are serious about getting better, I also do coaching for players that want to improve and get their gameplay to the next level. Coaching can't make you better if you just play normals and ARMS and don't like playing ranked, or you don't care about improving, you just play for fun, or let's say you just play the game for like 3 hours, maybe 4 hours per week, and that's about it, coaching doesn't help you. Coaching can help you if you feel hard stuck, if you